Just a reminder before today's programme that you can check out the previous episodes of the Doctor Who review, including the reactions and review to the two-part opener of Series 12, Spyfall. And now, here on AMTV, the latest reaction and review to Episode 3 of Series 12 of Doctor Who, taking a look at Orphan 55. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and it's time for another Doctor Who reaction and review, and we're covering the latest episode of Series 12, Episode 3, Orphan 55. Now, with Orphan 55, I did have my preconceptions. Obviously, we had the big two-part opener in Spyfall that had a lot of action, a lot of setting up the arc for the season, so I did think this was going to be one of those, filler episodes. But you know what? I was pleasantly surprised by this one. As usual, I've written down my thoughts on my phone here. It's not in any chronological order, they're just scattered, so apologies for that. But yeah, let's talk about Orphan 55. So the one thing I noticed straight away, and that a lot of people commented on, was there was no opening scene before the title sequence. I've never minded this. I remember it was a thing in Series 11, and I was like, oh, there's no cold open, where's my opening scene? But you know what, mate? All of Classic Who, nearly all of them anyway, there was no pre-credits scene. It's only been a thing of the new series, and we can live without it. And if we remember Rose, the very first episode of the New Who revival in 2005 didn't have a pre-title sequence either. So honestly, the fact there's no cold open doesn't bother me in the slightest. The Doctor's Mardy mood. So they're in the TARDIS cleaning up that tentacle thing because it's mating season. I'm glad we didn't see too much of that. And they're just, chatting, and Yaz just says, I'll get you out of your Mardy mood. Now, that I like. It's a subtle thing bringing us back to the end of Spyfall where the Doctor's had the revelation about Gallifrey and she's telling her fam a bit about it, but she doesn't want to delve into it, and it's clearly affecting her, making her a bit more irascible. And I hope that does continue, even in little small ways. I hope that continues throughout the rest of the season. Now, the dregs, these were the monsters of the week, and it's nice to see, I guess you call a very traditional Doctor Who monster. It was very well designed, the suits they used were wonderful. It kind of reminded me in a strange way of the Hoiks from 2006's Love and Monsters. Do you remember that thing at the very beginning? I don't know why, maybe it was like the mouth and the teeth, but it gave me a few flashbacks. It didn't seem like an entirely original creation, the dregs, but obviously the revelation about them later on, that they are basically us as humans mutated from years of climate change, war, devastation. I like that. I like the concept, but I think the idea of them is, we've seen it before. And I want to talk about Benny and Velma, the cute old couple. Honestly, my heart went out to Benny near the beginning when he's about to propose after 46 years and Yaz just comes in and completely spoils it for him. I don't know, it was a cute little moment, and I like their whole dynamic. It was all just a bit rather sad in a way that these two had spent a lifetime together, never got to fully realise that. And of course, the bit I loved was when they're in the truck and Benny first proposes to her, but then asks someone to shoot him because obviously he's been taken by the dregs. Quite a harrowing scene, to be honest. And then when Velma sacrifices herself, if a little melodramatic, but still very, very effective. And that ties into my next point, which is Segun Akinola's music for this one. Oh my goodness, the music in this episode is fantastic. Little things he keeps reusing, the new tracks we get to hear, it's all a brilliant composition for Doctor Who, and I can't wait for them to release a Series 12 soundtrack because the score in this one in particular was top notch. The reveal that Orphan 55 is actually Earth. Now, amazingly, I didn't see this coming. When they first explained it was an orphan planet, I thought that was just an interesting concept that planets could be orphaned in the first place. But when they find out, through going through the tunnels, and they realise it was like a, Russian or Siberian sign that it is Earth, it definitely reminded me of Ravelox from Trial of a Time Lord from 1986. For those who aren't familiar, the Sixth Doctor and Peri end up on Ravelox, and they're seeing signs of Earth all over the place, like tube stations and whatnot, and ultimately it is revealed to be Earth. And it was kind of like a little throwback to that in a way. Obviously they played on this one a lot more, being as this wasn't the set of a trial, of course, and that it's all about climate change, everyone's favourite, climate change. I'll get more onto that in a moment. What was my next point? Bella and Ryan. So it's nice to see Ryan finally have something to, not in a horrible way, but have something to do. I mean, sometimes Ryan, or Yaz really, can get sidelined in the story a bit, but that does come with having 3 companions. People can get lost in the wash, so to speak. But it was nice that Ryan got this other character to play off, and Bella was quite fun for him, and the little kiss they share at the end, and the thumb sucking thing as they did. Little strange, but you know, whatever. It was quite a downtrodden ending, with them saying they've got, you know, no help, no oxygen. So Bella and her mother, Kane, are presumably dead. Will we see more of them in the season? Probably not, but I kind of like that sometimes when Doctor Who does have its more downbeat endings with its side characters, just proving like not everyone has to survive or anything. I thought it was a nice touch, so well played there. And the growing frustration the fam can have with the Doctor. So if we remember in Series 11, well, to my memory anyway, most interactions between the Doctor and her companions were fairly light. You know, there was no real sense of anger or tension. Maybe a bit in It Takes You Away, but aside from that, it was all pretty peachy keen. I'm liking towards the end that they're challenging her more. Like, straight away, Yaz is like, how long did you know that it was Earth? That, you know, they're questioning her more. Obviously, they still trust her, they're still mates, but obviously with this whole revelation about Gallifrey and her being a Time Lord to them, I think they can now easily get more frustrated, because you can say, well, what else isn't the Doctor telling them? So I want that to build throughout the series, and hopefully it'll have a really good payoff come the series finale. But I don't know, I like that element. We're starting to see more tensions between our main cast now, which I think is a good dynamic for the show. And of course, the thing is about climate change. That was the one big thing I wanted to mention. A story about climate change isn't exactly new in Doctor Who. We have seen it before in like the 1970s. Stories particularly like The Green Death from 1973, which is often regarded as one of the best Doctor Who stories of all time. The fact we're doing climate change again doesn't bother me, because Doctor Who's always sort of covered issues at the time. Climate change was a big issue back then. It is a massive issue now. So to have an episode that focuses on it, I completely understand. Explaining Orphan 55's journey, the fact, you know, that it was Earth and that our misuse of the planet led to something like this, of course, is quite harrowing in its concept, if not completely unoriginal, but what idea is original these days. The bit I'm seeing a lot of comment about, and I have to say myself, is Jodie's speech at the end. I did like the speech on one note. It was very well acted, and it was very well delivered and written in concept, but a bit towards the end of it, it did feel like a bit of a lecture lesson of let's be good to the planet. And I'm not saying that's not a good lecture. It's obviously a very important message, especially nowadays, but I think people would have understood the point more, or would have more impact, without bashing us around the head with we are the bad ones, we need to be the best of humanity. I did like how she said it is one possible future. They weren't sort of obviously condemning it like, oh yeah, you've messed up the planet, it's all you. They're leaving it open to more possibilities, which I think is good. But overall, yeah, a bit too preachy towards the end, but I didn't have like a major problem with it. It didn't ruin the episode for me. Oh yeah, James Buckley's also in this, Jay from The Inbetweeners. He's fine. His character just sort of bumbles around with his son with green hair. It was alright, not much more to say on that really. I mean, there are obviously many more things I could talk about with this episode, but I wanted to talk about those big points that I just, because what I do is now I watch the episode and I'll just have my phone next to me and I'll just write those little notes if anything major stands out. But on the whole, I actually really enjoyed Orphan 55, despite being in a way a filler episode. It was a very strong one, in a way very traditional Doctor Who, that sort of base under siege, monsters coming after you. Some developed side characters. There were some that did get thrown away, like that hyphen with a 3, that weird cat thing with a Brummie accent, that got thrown away pretty quickly. But some of them, like as I said, Benny and Velma, I liked the Bella character, Kane, all that sort of stuff. So really good Doctor Who. And I can't wait to see what we get next week with episode 4, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. But thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode yourself, please leave a comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time. Well, that does bring us to a close this evening on AMTV. We do hope you enjoyed the programme, and please do keep your eyes open for brand new content that will be coming to you soon. Until then, have a very good week, and we hope that you join us again soon. Good night.